What's going on, guys? Welcome to March's episode of Game of the Month, the show where we pick a game at random every month, and at the end of the month we talk about it. My name's Seth, and joining me today on my left to your right is Chevy. Chevy, we just did Plus Club. We just talked about Code Vein, Minecraft Dungeons, Battlefield 2042. You had plenty of opinions on those, and so did I. So if people want to go check that out, they can go check that out. But since then, how you been?
Lazy.
I feel it. I've been playing Hunt Showdown all day today. That's all I've done so far. So, pretty lazy.
I did some YouTube. I haven't played anything yet, so.
Except for my heart. My heart has not been lazy. It's been just stressed the fuck out the whole time, but I love it. All right, well, we got to talk about Multiversus today, which we will talk about, but we're in a situation where typically in prior years, we every 3 months have somebody who's part of the Tasty Crew, pick a game. So in January, I picked a game. I picked Solasta, I think. And then this month would typically either be, I think the year before was Sarah, and then before that was Chris. They got to pick a game. They are not currently on the show right now. Welcome back anytime. But that kind of leaves a void. So we are going to pick a game together, and I had you send me a list of games you would be willing to play. Games on your back burner, games you kind of want to maybe play since you own them, but you haven't really played them. I went through it and I picked one. I haven't told you which one it is yet, but yeah, that's what we're doing here. I essentially am picking it, I guess, but you gave me the ones you're open to. So this is a joint picking of Game of the Month for April. And so yeah, the list you gave me was a lot of current games, which I was pretty stoked about because I don't think we do enough current games on this channel when it comes to reviews. So the game I picked off your list is going to be Wild Hearts. So that will be our game of the month for April. That game came out not that long ago. I already played the shit out of it, I already beat it, but they have released new monsters since I last played. You've barely played the game, and we know plenty of people who do play the game. So I think it'll be a really good game for April to play through, get some people together, and then review at the end of the month. So kind of your pick because it was on your list. What do you think?
Looking forward to not wasting my money.
That's fair. Another one, shout out that you had put on the list was Atomic Heart that I almost thought about picking. Just because I played that for about 5 hours and I haven't come back, and I was enjoying myself. So that would have been a good one too. I think you also had Demio on there, which would have been interesting. The only reason I didn't pick that one is because a lot of people aren't going to have the ability to play that as well. So it'd be kind of just our review of that, which would have been fine. And then I think you had No Man's Sky, which probably would have been a good pick because you've been playing a lot of that anyway. And then I think you had Guilty Gear Strive, which would have been good as well.
Came out, so.
Oh yeah, who?
Bedman question mark.
Oh, all right. But yeah, out of all those, I thought Wild Hearts would be a good community pick. So I'm excited to play it again. I took a small little break from it after just only playing it for a while there. So yeah, we'll be playing that, and yeah. So let's talk about Multiversus, but before we talk about our impressions of it, I want to let people know this is kind of topical that we're reviewing this game because it's being shut down. It's being shut down. Apparently, it was in an open beta, and it's shutting down in June and relaunching in early 2024. Now, for some details on this, because I know a lot of people played this when it first came out, this article via Rock, Paper, Shotgun, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, says Warner Bros. Crossover brawler Multiversus is disabling online services on June 25th until the game's full launch on early 2024. Developer Play First Games has announced 2 seasons deep. The studio says they're taking Multiversus offline because it's been in open beta this whole time. I know, shocker. So an extended break will give them time to prepare for their proper launch. Multiversus and its premium currency Gleamium will be removed from digital storefronts on April 4th. Although, if you've installed the fighter before then, you'll be able to re-download it after that date and after online services sunset in June. Season 2 is also being extended until June 25th date, letting you grind through the latest battle pass and complete daily missions. During the lengthy downtime, players will still be able to access offline modes, such as the training dojo, and play locally with friends, but the team won't be updating the game until its relaunch. When that relaunch hits in 2024, players will keep all their unlocks, including characters, Gleamium, premium and skins, but WB isn't offering any refunds for in-game purchases. You can check out the FAQ page for more details. What do we think about, before we talk about the game itself, what they're doing with this?
I mean, it's kind of hard to have like any major thoughts because I don't have like a huge attachment to the game. But I mean,
You mean to tell me the one time we played it in this last month, you didn't fall in love with it?
well, I can't talk too much on that just yet. So
That's fair.
I mean, if it's in beta and they're going to relaunch it, then I mean, it makes sense to me. I would just say if you're curious about it, you should probably download it before the 4th.
I think it's interesting that 24th. I think it said did not.
The download goes away. I thought.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, June 25th is when the server goes down, but you'll still be able to play offline, which is interesting. Yeah. I think it's really interesting because it was an open beta, and most games like this will just roll out into full release. And they're not saying this, but I feel like the game came out, was celebrated, everybody was loving it, and then anyone who played it, and then it kind of lost a lot of its appeal pretty quickly. And I'll speculate on why when we talk about impressions, but I feel like they're deciding to do this to kind of give it a relaunch in terms of like making a splash again and making people want to come back and play it. It seems like it's a strategy they're doing here, because I haven't seen really anything else that explains why they would need to do this. They said they're not even like, updating it obviously until the relaunch. So it sounds like they're kind of reprioritizing things, maybe adding some features that aren't there yet, and trying to win back some people with a big launch. Other than that, though, they got to do what they got to do. I'm glad that anyone who spent money on the game will have that honored, because that would be a huge fucking problem. It is kind of crazy they're not offering any refunds for public relation reasons, but it makes sense as a company. They wouldn't want to give you your money back, especially if they plan on bringing the game back. But this is really interesting because you don't see a whole lot of games come out in an extended 2-season open beta. Like, that sounds like early access to me. And then go, well, the beta's over. The game's going to launch now, and by next year. So it's kind of interesting, but as long as they honor everything and they do relaunch the game, I don't see an issue. But it does seem kind of weird. It seems last minute, and it does seem like it's a it's a relaunch out of strategy, out of trying to get the game popular again. So we will see how that goes when it does relaunch. But it is interesting too. They're allowing you to play offline. So you still play the game. You just can't.
I don't think they can legally make you or disallow you to, because it's on your system at that point.
Well, yeah, but any game that's like an online game that connects to a server, they could shut you out.
Sure, but those components aren't online, so they'd be accessible regardless, unless they snuck in the online connectivity only for those things. So
sure, I don't know. I assume a lot of games nowadays have. There's a bunch of games nowadays that are, even when you play single player, you have to be connected to the internet. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did just shut down the whole thing. So yeah, but no updates during that time. So very interesting. And I wanted to let people know, since we are talking about this game today, what's going on with it, because this is quite the change up. You have anything else you want to say on it? All right, well, let us know in the comments what you guys think about this relaunching of early 2024. Have you guys been playing it? And are you happy they're doing this? Are you upset they're doing this? Could you not care less? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to Multiversus. All right, so let's talk about Multiversus. If you didn't get a chance to play Multiversus, it is a Smash Bros.-like platform brawler where you play as one of many WB property characters, from like Looney Tunes to Tom and Jerry to Game of Thrones to, what else am I missing here? Adventure Time. There's a bunch of different brands in this game that you can play characters from. Batman, Superman, Finn. Yeah, Finn from Adventure Time. Bunch of characters. And yeah, you brawl other characters. It's typically 2v2. There is free-for-all. And you can play against bots or other people. And Yeah, every character you play levels up to, I think, 25. They unlock perks. The perks can change very slightly the way your character stats work. And if your partner uses the same perk you're using, you can increase something that's like 5% to 10%. So there is a team synergy there. And yeah, you punch each other and you knock them out of the ring. We both played it, and Chevy, this is your, I believe, first time playing Multiversus. What were your thoughts in March?
So, I mean, first and foremost, the game is very clean looking, and the character animations. I said this even watching early gameplay of it and trailers and stuff, that the animations are very good. You can tell that they really wanted them to feel not only like their characters, but also like give them still that like cartoony feel. And they did a good job with that, I would say. They do offer a lot of IPs that people are going, generally, I would say, would probably love. And so I think you could probably find something in that regard that you can enjoy here. And then they do have multiple types of characters, whether that be like, speed or strength or whatever. So they don't all just kind of fit into one generic bracket. So they put a lot of thought into the systems of the game. I do think it's important to note, though, that I don't like brawler games. Smash Bros. Is not my thing. I prefer to play like actual fighting games. So
Damn.
this is not my cup of tea. So I very much forced myself to play this game. I did not have a lot of fun with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's not fun for me at all. So I do appreciate that the combat meta is different from its obvious inspiration, which is a good thing, because if it was just a clone, I don't think they'd have a lot to offer outside of their IPs at that point.
I honestly think this is regardless of how you feel about the genre, I think it's the best attempt anyone's ever had at making a Smash Bros. Like game.
Well, it feels like someone tried for sure.
Yeah. A lot of times they feel like they're just taking the basic idea, but there's no heart to it. And this feels like people really wanted to make a fun game. And in my opinion, they did, but I'll get into that when I talk about it. But yeah, the quality's there.
Yeah. I did run into one headache, which is I don't play fighting games with a joystick. I use a D-pad when I use a controller. And they do not make it very obvious to figure out how to switch that. It is switchable. It's in the key binds, but you have to. It doesn't tell you. It's not very clear, I should say. So I did have to look it up, but I did find out how to do the key bind for it so that I could use the D-pad to play, which did make my experience a little smoother. Other than that, there was no connectivity issues. It ran great. We were able to match up real easily. So
yeah, it's super straightforward in that regard. It's nice.
Yeah. So outside of just like some personal gripes with the type of game it is, and then the D-pad thing, the experience was fine. So I have no complaints in that regard.
What characters? Do you remember what characters you played?
They had like 3 of them I could play because I played it free to play.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have them all unlocked.
Who the hell were they?
You played what the fuck is his name? The guy from Adventure Time, the fucking dog guy.
The dog was one of the characters.
I can't remember his fucking name.
I think not Scooby. Shaggy was one of the characters. I hated playing Shaggy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him either.
The dog from Adventure Time was okay, and then I think they also gave me one other character. I think I played them the most.
Oh, Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, you were playing Harley Quinn.
Because they had the most like brain dead button layout, so it was easy for me to play.
That's fair.
But yeah.
Yeah. Any opinions on the stages?
They're floating platforms like Smash.
Smash,
really,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so returning to this was kind of weird because I had already gotten the news that they were going to be shutting it down going into it, and I was like, that's kind of a weird situation, knowing that like they had dropped down to like 1% of their player base in recent times, and then seeing the shutdown thing, I was like, this might be the last fucking time this game's out. Like, I know they say they're going to relaunch it, but what if it's gone for a while and then they're like, sorry to inform you guys, but we actually had to shut it down, blah blah blah. So it's kind of weird playing this because I'm like, it feels like I'm playing like a dead game, but hopefully the relaunch does something for it for sure. I have some ideas on what can make it exciting too, but return to it was fun. I'm a fan of this game. I'm not like a super fan of it. I'm not even a big fan of Smash Bros. Style games, honestly. I respect them, but they're not my kind of fighting games, so I'm kind of in the same place as you. But I think I can play them and enjoy them a little more than you can in that regard. So playing this, this is going to sound like blasphemy, but I actually enjoyed this game more than Smash Bros. Because it's more of a fighter than Smash Bros. Is. Smash Bros. Obviously has everything this has, and Smash Bros. Also has the emphasis on items and the wackiness of throwing shit around and doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and that's never been appealing to me. But the platform fighting, the building up percentages, knocking people out, doing the ring out stuff is super gratifying in both games, and this game does a really good job on it. It's also got a lot of interesting cosmetic items as you play it that I think kind of enhance that as well. Like you can get new ring out animations in this that I think is kind of a nice touch. That's something that Smash Bros. Isn't a games as a service game, so it's kind of set in stone outside of whatever updates come out for it. But this, they had the opportunity to add stuff like that. But anyway, it feels like a closer to fighting game than a platform fighter. So that's something I appreciate about it. I think the game's clean looking. It's nice looking. Plays smooth as long as you're not having any kind of server issues, which I have had playing against other people before where people are teleporting around. That always sucks, and that does happen. Combat's fun. The roster of characters is really good. There's a lot of different types of characters, and I like that there are like tank characters. There's like experimental characters. There's like I forget what they're called, but they're essentially like more brawler DPS style characters. So that's kind of neat that it even has like a class system almost. Some of the characters even have buffs that they can give other characters. So there's a team synergy to it that I think is really neat. Speaking of that, I think the perk system is really neat too. It's not super, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it gives you an edge to certain types of characters you're playing. Maybe your character's better at aerial combat. Maybe your character's better at like, knocking ringed out and all those kind of things. Well, there are perks that you can unlock through everybody that share across the board that you can start equipping onto your characters that, you can start enhancing your strengths. Or maybe do some kind of hybrid build where you're weaker in this and you can start putting perks into that to kind of be more balanced across the board. I'm a fan of making builds in games, so that you can do that in a Smash Bros. Like game, I think is pretty neat. I also love that when you play with a friend and you have similar perks, you can kind of work together to build your characters up in really interesting ways. Yeah, stages are cool. They're fun. They're pretty basic, but I kind of like that because I think sometimes games like this can get a little too crazy with the stages. There's a fun novelty element to that, but this game's definitely trying to be a games as a service competitive game, and I think they're trying to shape their maps for that, I guess. Yeah. Characters are cool though. I play Finn a lot. I play the yellow dog guy. He's kind of basic, but I like his move set. He does a lot of like aerial, like you can do really heavy hits directionally. That's really nice. Batman's okay. I tried out some of the newer characters to me. Ones from Gremlins like Gizmo. I think they had added Marvin the Martian since the last time I played. He was not that great to me. Gizmo's neat though. I think it's interesting. You can put a car on the stage that anybody can hop in and drive, so that was a fun thing. And it's just neat to see that they're supporting the game, adding new characters, and all the characters still feel very different. They all are very unique feeling individually, so that's good. And on the note of supporting the game, I think they've done a fantastic job at supporting new characters to the game. But I think one of the weaknesses this game has so far in its games as a service approach is there's not really a whole lot else going on outside of just the new characters. Like, I think one thing this game needs is more game modes. There's a couple times where, like, I would be playing this and I would have more than one other person who wanted to play it. And I think you can do 2v2 with your friends, but I'm surprised there's not a 3v3 or 4v4 or some kind of bigger group game mode for everybody. So I was really surprised coming back to see that they had added, like, I think one new mode. So that kind of gave me some info on why this game's not still this big celebrated game, because they're doing a great job supporting the characters, the new characters. There's plenty of them. Like, I was like, oh, cool. They've had like 5 or 6 since I was last playing this, but not a whole lot else. There's some new cosmetics, but not a lot. It's kind of important as well when you're trying to sell people Gleamium. You need to be offering enough stuff to be unlocking. I guess they have the season passes, but I got like halfway through the first one and never came back after that. And then I was looking at the season 2 pass, and there's some interesting stuff in there, but nothing that really excited me. So I guess what I'm trying to say with all this is, like, the game itself is super fucking solid, plays great, looks great, super unique characters, but because they chose for this to be a games as a service game, I don't think they are supporting it as well as they not even should be. They have to be to keep people playing it. They've prioritized characters, which I think is honestly the most important thing. They've done a good job at that, but maybe pull back just a little bit on those characters and implement new and fun ways to play the game, because coming back to it almost felt exactly the same outside of newer characters. And so there was nothing new and exciting for me returning to it. So hopefully on this relaunch, they will have time to create some new features, some new game modes. The characters are fun. Like, they don't have to add anything on relaunch. Maybe one, I don't know. But add some new exciting features, new things to do, new ways to play that will make anyone who was like, oh yeah, that game relaunched, should I hop back in? Then you read up on it and it's like got these cool things. You're like, oh shit, yeah, I gotta hop back in and make new modes where more people can play, so you can get your friends to come along and build that community, because I think they got a super solid foundation. It's a really fun game. I think it's really they did a really good job on everything, but in terms of supporting this game and trying to keep people playing it, they could work a little bit more on that, I think. But I'm not a game dev, so who am I to tell anybody how to do things? But I am a consumer, and if you want me to come back, you need to offer me something to come back for. Yeah, game's fun though, solid. I hope it relaunches smoothly, and I hope it does well, because I think competition is good, and Smash Bros definitely needs competition. It kind of stands alone, and when Nickelodeon comes out with a fucking brawler, or even PlayStation, or other people, they haven't been able to make a good enough one, but these guys did, so I want that to succeed. So yeah, hopefully they can re-strategize. But it was fun. It's fun to come back. Plus bot support. We talked about this on Plus Club when it came to Battlefield. In fact, over on Reddit, talking about Plus Club, there was a bunch of people talking about the bot support. Some guy mentioned he couldn't get in a server. I was like, well, I fucking recognize that problem. He's like, but I play bot support and it's really fun. Someone's like, wait, there's bots in the game? And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, holy shit, I typically don't want to play these kind of games because I don't want to play against people, but that's awesome. And this other guy's like, yeah, I play on bots all the time. Like, it's just fun shooting and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, see, there's a whole demo of people who don't want to play. Like, and I can go either way, but it's just interesting how, like, you add that and you attract a whole new group of people. And anyway, I'm kind of rambling here. This game has bot support, and I think that's really good too, because not always do people want to play against other people. There is, certain elements of that aren't appealing, considering you're playing against another person who, potentially might be super sweaty and want to destroy you, and you're just like, I'm just trying to fucking fun here, man. So, yeah, I like that they offer that. I think that's everything I have to say on it, though. It's a fun game. Good job. Got anything else? All right, let's jump into recommendations. I think the easiest one to recommend is if you like Smash Bros. This is the second best Smash Bros. Style game. I would say for most people, for me, I like it a little bit more just because it's more of a fighter for me. But if you are into that genre and you didn't play this for some reason, you should definitely play it because it is the best attempt at that genre since Smash Bros. 100%. If you like any of the properties that this game has and you're okay with brawlers, I would check it out. This has a lot of random stuff going on in it. Like I said, Looney Tunes, DC, Adventure Time, Game of Thrones. It's really neat to see all these properties in one game. I never really thought about how much things WB owned. And then you see it in this game. It's like, oh, they definitely should have made a game like this. They have enough things to do this and they can keep going. If you're into any of that stuff, I mean, if you wanted to play a game where you can play as Gizmo from Gremlins and beat the shit out of people with them, this game has that, so that's kind of crazy. I would also loosely recommend this to any person who's into fighting games. It is a platform brawler fighting game, but it leans a little more into, it is still roll around, jump, punch, blah, 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 but there's less like weird item stuff happening unless your character does that kind of thing. So this might be something for you. I think a lot of people, though, if they like fighting games, probably also like Smash Bros. I think we're just kind of weird in that regard. But I don't know. If you like fighting games, check it out. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
It's like if it was a racing game, I wouldn't really be like, hey, if you like fucking first-person shooters, check it out. So it's kind of limited in that regard.
Yeah.
And I'll pull a Chris. This might be a fun game to play with your kids, if you got kids, or anybody who might be casual. You can hop in with some bots and just beat some shit up. Might be a fun time. So just because it has that. Nothing else. All right. Let's grade it. When I first played this, I think I might have gave it an A-, just because I think the passion was there and they did such a good job at being the only other dev to ever make a game like this well. But I'm going to drop it down to a light B+, just because I don't think they've supported the game that well, and I think they could do a better job at that. But other than that, I think the quality's there, I think the passion's there, I think the gameplay's there, the features are pretty good, the multiplayer works just fine, the bot support's awesome, it does a lot of things right. It's just they're expecting you to live in this game and go through a battle pass, but they're not giving you the stuff you need to want to do that. And it's kind of disappointing because I would love to be playing this game right now and be super passionate about it, and knowing it's getting shut down, I'm just like, I don't even know if it's going to help the game or not if they do that. People might forget about it after that, so we'll see. But light B+, just because I think they really did make a great game here. I just hope they can re-strategize their services formula. So yeah. What would you grade it in terms of not liking the genre?
On a personal level, I would give it a D-, but
Okay.
That's not fair. So I'm going to give it a B. My major complaints obviously was the key binding for the D-pad being kind of unclear, and then the very obvious free-to-play model with the rotated characters and stuff like that. I think that kind of takes away from the premium feeling of a game. So I know why they have to do it. They're trying to make money. So
and they made it for me. I mean, I bought the characters. So,
but it is, I think a lesser experience because of that. You just get more access to more people by not having a paywall in the beginning. So, but yeah, I'd probably give it a B because otherwise it works fine and it does what they're trying to do with it. My personal opinions aside. So.
Yeah. If everybody knew, we always kind of go over this every once in a while. The way we're grading is typically based off of obviously our own opinion on, what we think of the game, obviously. But I think we're both pretty good about recognizing, even if we're not into the genre, to not dock it for that, because you should be able to look past, I don't play racing games.
Preference
but still,
doesn't dictate if a game is a good game or not.
sure, you can still see the quality in something. So I think it's important to be able to differentiate that. For me, though, it's rough because I like everything. So, like, unless it's a puzzle game, then you hear, like, oh, fucking, I don't play these games. But,
I know in a certain Alien script game you don't like, but...
A what? Oh, yeah. It's very rare that there's a game I think is, even if it's bad, I'll still find humor in it. But, yeah, if I'm, like, legit upset about your game, I either feel insulted, I feel like you're predatory, or I guess I feel insulted. If I'm playing a game and I feel like you're wasting my time egregiously, then I'll dislike your game. And that's been so few games. I think there's been like 5 games in the whole time we've had this channel going that I've like that I disliked. So yeah. All right, so B plus and a B, pretty good. Let's see where it's at next year, early next year when it relaunches. But let us know in the comments what you guys think of Multiversus. Did you play it? Did you not play it? If you didn't play it, why didn't you play it? If you did play it, what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What do you think about the future? This is the conversation I really want to have is, where do you think it's going? What do you think they can do to save the game? Do you think the relaunch is going to help or hurt the game? And what would you like to see in the game later? I kind of said I'd like to see, mostly I'd like to see more game modes. But is there anything that would pull you back in or just make you happy if they added to it? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Multiversus. But that's going to do it for this episode of Game of the Month for March. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our socials and streams. Links down below. Discord as well. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. Or link down below. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new, we're also on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us in audio form, I have a TikTok as well if you'd like to watch my shorts there. And yeah, I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. And thank you for joining me, Chevy. Thank you for joining me, everybody else who watched this. Until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.